SCP-3852 Small Town Justice. Object Class Keter. Special Containment Procedures. Emergency service calls are to be tracked and scanned for keywords by a Foundation-operated bot. Upon confirmation of an SCP-3852 event, Mobile Task Force Epsilon-6 Village Idiots are to be deployed to subdue all members of the affected community and terminate the active SCP-3852-2 instance. Any non-Foundation emergency personnel are to be recalled in order to prevent contact with the affected community. Members of the affected community are to be subdued and contained only following the termination of the active SCP-3852-2 instance by Mobile Task Force Epsilon-6. Members of the affected community under Foundation custody are to be contained in a standard holding cell at Site-11. Members of the affected community are to be questioned, amnesticized, and released at discretion of the Site Director. Recovered SCP-3852-1 instances are to be preserved in the standard biological storage units at Site-11. Description: SCP-3852 is a repeated phenomenon affecting rural towns and populations within the East Coast and Midwest of the contiguous United States. SCP-3852 has not been observed to manifest in any community with more than 2,000 permanent residents. As of 2013, 17 SCP-3052 events have been confirmed since 1978. SCP-3052-1 refers to a set of adult male corpses. All instances of SCP-3052-1 are genetically and physically identical. All instances of SCP-3052-1 have no signs of internal or external injuries, and autopsies conducted by Foundation personnel have been unable to determine a cause of death. Investigation into the identity of SCP-3052-1 instances is ongoing. During an SCP-3052 event, an instance of SCP-3052-1 will spontaneously appear within the vicinity of the affected town. Upon discovery of the SCP-3052-1 instance, all members of the affected community will identify the body as a specific male of the community, hereby designated SCP-3052-2. The SCP-3052-2 instance will remain unaffected by the SCP-3052 phenomena, but will not be recognized by the rest of the affected community. Instead, the SCP-3052-2 instance will be regarded as a newly arrived outsider. It is presently hypothesized that the SCP-3052-1 instance will be identified as a member of the affected community previously accused and subsequently acquitted of repeated or severe crimes. Within 2 to 5 hours of the beginning of an SCP-3052 event, members of the affected community will begin to accuse SCP-3052-2 instance of crimes leading to or directly causing the death of the SCP-3052-1 instance. In redacted percent of SCP-3052 events, 11 to 27% of the affected community refute the accusations leveled against the SCP-3052-2 instance. Any dissenting members of the community will be accused of obstructing justice. The affected community will attempt to apprehend and summarily execute any and all of the accused, prioritizing the SCP-3052-2 instance. The affected community will only cease attempts to apprehend the SCP-3052-2 instance upon its capture or death. Upon successful execution of the SCP-3052-2 instance, the affected community will return to normal behavior. Community members have displayed no symptoms of long-term psychological effects prior to or following amnesticization, but have given inconsistent accounts of SCP-3052 events. Excerpts from Event Log 16A2M. Event: EV-3052-07-F3T. Location: Redacted, Indiana. Date: January 3rd, 1978. Affected population: 368. Overview: First known occurrence of SCP-3852. SCP-3852-1 instance is discovered in the town square shortly after sunrise. Identified by the affected community as 28-year-old Glenn Redacted, an unemployed man. SCP-3852-2 instance is captured after failing to cross a nearby river and is hanged by the affected community. SCP-3852-1 instance recovered by Foundation personnel. Members of affected community questioned, amnesticized, and released. Event: EV-3852-15C1K. Location: Redacted, Ohio. Date: February 5th, 1996. Affected population: 572. SCP-3852-1 instance is discovered in a schoolyard, identified by the affected community as 31-year-old Hector Redacted, a former factory worker paralyzed from the waist down in an accident 5 years prior. Roughly 23% of the affected community reject the accusations against the SCP-3852-2 instance. Dissenting members and the SCP-3852-2 instance seek shelter within a nearby abandoned barn. Roughly 2 hours later, SCP-3852 event is confirmed, and Mobile Task Force Epsilon-6 deployed. SCP-3852-1 instance located and recovered by Mobile Task Force Epsilon-6. As of 2015, 96% of the remaining members of the affected community have successfully been released and redistributed. Interview Log 22M7-B. Subject: Matthew Escott, age 52, a member of the affected community. Interviewer: Dr. Keeger. Forward: Interview took place 2 weeks following SCP-3852 event EV-3852-15C1K. Begin Log 1430, February 19th, 1996. Keeger: Good afternoon, Mr. Escott. I appreciate your cooperation. With any luck, things will get back to normal soon enough. Escott: Soon? It's been 2 weeks since you scooped us up and I haven't seen my wife yet. You didn't even bother to tell us where or what this place is. All in due time, I assure you, Mr. Escott. The sooner you answer our questions, the sooner we can answer yours. Right then. Get on with it then. Well, I'd like to know a little bit more about the, victim. Could you describe him for me? Hector? Kinda brutish, big fellow. You, probably already know this, but he was paralyzed a few years back in an accident. He killed some other poor bastard too, and from what we could all tell, it was Hector's fault. Was Hector well known prior to the accident? Well, everyone basically knows everyone around Redacted, small town and all that. Besides, Hector was never exactly the ideal neighbor, if you catch my drift. He made standoffish a lifestyle, and if people didn't like him before, they basically hated him after he got off the negligence charge scot-free. Thinking back, we were probably a bit rough on him, but accident or not, 2 healthy men for a cripple isn't the most ideal trade. How did you react when you saw the body, Mr. Escott? I was, well, stunned, really. Couldn't make heads or tails of it. Hector was one of those people you thought was gonna live forever. Then he just turns up, not only dead, but murdered. So, you're certain the body was Hector's? Sure as anything. I mean, he wasn't someone who could easily blend into a crowd. And you're also certain he was murdered? Is it possible Hector died of natural... Doc, please, you must have seen the body too. There was nothing natural about it. You said someone arrived shortly after you found the body? Yeah, just a few minutes after most of us had gathered. He was... Well, he wasn't really answering our questions right, and then he, well, his wife showed up. Hector's, I mean. How did Hector's wife react to seeing the body? She was in hysterics, Doc. God, I don't know what she saw in him that the rest of us didn't, but that newcomer came up to her and was trying to talk to her, but she was just screaming and sobbing, and that's when things turned sour. And this newcomer, did you happen to notice that he was paralyzed as well? Don't you think that's rather coincidental? Dog, I'm not a genius, okay? To be honest, I don't know why you chose to speak to me, cause I wasn't the ringleader or anything. It goes the same way, right? One person pointing fingers at someone doesn't mean much, but after she accused him, people started looking at him from a different angle, and, well, I figured they all knew a few things I didn't. Not everyone agreed, though. Isn't that correct? Escott pauses before nodding. Did you know any of the dissenters personally? No, you can't expect me to know everyone. It's a big place. No, I figure most of them were loners and stuff. We barely recognized them. Well, any of them, really, now that I think about it. What happened after they went into the barn? Escott shifts uncomfortably. Well, we figured we better get him out of there fast, so that's why we must have, I see, Mr. Escott. Did you and the rest of the community intend to kill the accused murderer and the others by doing so? Escott remains silent. Thank you, Mr. Escott. That'll be all. This concludes the interview. End log, 1452. Addendum, May 22nd, 2016. On May 15th, 2016, an 8-minute video entitled February 5th, 96 Redacted was uploaded to YouTube. The video was discovered by a Foundation web crawler and was taken down roughly 2 hours after upload. An investigation into the identity of the cameraman is ongoing. A transcript of the video is available below. Video transcript 15C1K, Level 4 access. Video transcript 15C1K. Begin transcript. 1 second. Video begins, a crowd is seen deliberating on a gravel road. 23 seconds. The cameraman breaks into the crowd. The SCP-3852-2 instance, apparently unconscious, is visible on the ground. The SCP-3852-1 instance is seen laying on a bedsheet. 1 minute 15 seconds. A sobbing woman is led by the crowd towards the SCP-3852-1 instance. The woman points at the SCP-3852-1 instance. 1 minute 46 seconds. Woman. That's him. I don't know. Unintelligible. 2 minutes, 2 seconds. Members of the crowd drag away SCP-3852-2 instance. 2 minutes, 4 seconds. Video cuts. A smaller crowd is now visible outside of a large barn. The majority of the crowd is armed with various farming instruments. 2 minutes, 35 seconds. Cameraman approaches the door through the crowd. A man is seen standing in the barn door, arguing with the crowd. 3 minutes, 17 seconds. Man. Leave! We ain't coming out until the cops arrive. You've hurt him enough already. 3 minutes, 33 seconds. A man is seen breaking from the crowd, identified by Foundation records as Matthew Escott. 3 minutes, 40 seconds. Escott. Out of the way, Wyatt. You're shielding a murderer. 3 minutes, 48 seconds. Matt, we're friends. Get them out of here. You know you don't have any proof 4 minutes, 4 seconds. His presence is proof enough. This town let one person escape justice, and it's not happening again. Get him out of here before we drag him out. 4 minutes, 26 seconds. No, all of y'all, get away before... A gunshot is heard. Wyatt can be seen attempting to re-enter the barn before being grabbed and pulled into the crowd. The barn door is closed from the inside. 5 minutes, 6 seconds. Video cuts. It is now visibly night. The cameraman has taken a position a distance away from the crowd. Various members of the crowd are seen holding gasoline canisters and torches. 6 minutes, 38 seconds. Wyatt is dragged away from the crowd by 2 men armed with rifles. 6 minutes, 54 seconds. Unintelligible. Stop! We'll give him up! Just let us... 7 minutes, 5 seconds. The video of the 2 armed men slams the buttstock of the rifle into the head of Wyatt. Makeshift barricades are seen propped against the barn door. Escott is seen approaching the door holding a torch. 7 minutes, 32 seconds. You had your chance. You chose to side with the criminal. And now, you'll get your fair share of the punishment. 7 minutes, 42 seconds. Escott raises his torch. Cheering from the crowd is heard as he drops it under the barricades. 8 minutes, 15 seconds. Video cuts. Helicopter blades are heard as the cameraman retreats from the town. Smoke is seen in the sky as the cameraman enters a nearby forest. End transcript. Thank you for listening to SCP-3852. If you enjoyed this SCP, please follow the link in the description to the SCP Wiki and vote it up to support it and the SCP Wiki as a whole. Also, if you have any SCPs you'd like for me to do, please comment below and I'll see what I can do.